Hello and welcome to Fresh Faced One Shots. My name is Joey.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we're beginning a new adventure in Fresh Faced One Shots with Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. We keep covering Batman miniseries with stupid long titles. I do also love, did you read the interview at the end of this?
Yes, I did. Okay. I did. Hi.
First off, lovely interview, isn't it? Oh my god. Just gorgeous conversation between Richard Starkings and Jeff Loeb, mostly about the wonderful Tim Sale. But I do love they even poke fun at that in the interview where they're like, let's call it by its full title, Batman, The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, which I'm sure is just to coincide with those newer printings they do of
those gorgeous deluxe editions, yeah.
Yeah, they're really nice, but also calling it The Long Halloween, Catwoman When in Rome is dumb as fuck. So, yes. Come on.
Let's explain what this is.
Yeah, so I read this apparently 3 years ago. My God, it's been 3 years, and also a little over 2 years since Tim Sale is no longer with us, which makes me incredibly sad. Still, but this is a reprint of a thing that was called the Long Halloween Special when it first came out, which I learned through the interview. So I remember. Okay, I guess if I get I'm kind of jumping around here, but you and me, we were talking about. I know you had some concerns going into this miniseries about, it kind of not feeling like as I understood it from what you were telling me, is that, it may not be the same. I was
afraid this was going to be a cash grab.
Exactly. But as the interview reveals, Sale and Loeb had wanted to do a final act to the Long Halloween saga since before Sale's passing, since they did that Long Halloween special. And it was Sale's very quick and unfortunate passing that caused that to be, put on hold, or permanent hold, I suppose, for a long time. And now we have this. So this zero issue for The Last Halloween is a reprint of that special, but recontextualized, with nothing changed about the story itself, but just recontextualized as the prologue to a much larger story, which I think is really great. I remember reading that special when it first came out, and the last thing there said, the end for now, and it was like, well, I guess I'm never going to get the rest of that. But here I am, and I'm finally getting it, and I'm so excited about that. But I'm also just really excited that you got to read this, because I was going to have us read it on the podcast eventually anyway, but, I mean, hey, why not now?
Yeah, and, obviously The Long Halloween, first comic we did for the podcast. Go check out that very first episode where we have no structure and
No structure.
We have no structure, and
the sound quality is miserable, and we make a structure on the fly, and at the end of the day, Long Halloween and Dark Victory and anything by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, it's a saga that means a lot to us as creators on this channel, and just
a saga we have 2 more things to read from after this is all said and done.
I'd
argue.
Being The Last Halloween and Haunted Night.
Haunted Night. Well, I was also going to say I would make that 3 things, because I would also include Superman for All Seasons, because it's.
It's not really part of it, but I understand where you're coming from.
It is Loeb and Sale's DC work.
Yeah, but at that point you're kind of including literally anything they've worked on at DC. So
yes, there's a reason. There's
For All Seasons is lovely. I love For All Seasons, but all right, let's talk about this though. I had a really great time rereading this. First off, I didn't realize this was a reprint at first. So I started reading this and I was like, worth noting, I only read this once, back when it first came out in 2021, and so my memory of it isn't the strongest, but I guess it's something to really be said for the quality of this writer-artist duo that I got not even 10 pages in, and I was like, wait a second, no, I've read this before. This is a really distinctive Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale story. And then I realized it was a reprint, and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna keep reading it because it's just that good. They're just that good. I love these guys so much. And God, I miss Tim Sale. I'm gonna say it so many times. So. I think this is a part of the saga that Loeb and Sale really needed to tackle, which is that the Calendar Man throughout all of Long Halloween and Dark Victory is a background player. He's used as like a Hannibal Lecter type character in Long Halloween, where he's just feeding Batman and Gordon information. Dark Victory, he gets a little more to do. He's on this semi-revenge quest, but not nearly as much as this story is literally about the calendar. We see him, he has like this new gang that sort of obeys him. They all have different months of the year tattooed on their heads in the way that he does, but it's like 1 month per henchman. We also get to see, I think early on here, how Batman and Gordon's relationship has developed throughout the time between Dark Victory and now, which I'm assuming is meant to be a year, Halloween to Halloween.
I read this very much as a year. Largely because there's this tension. First off, obviously, the art has that perfect. It's Tim Sale didn't lose any of his talents.
Tim fucking Sale. It still looks so good. Like
the only thing that would be. I have to call out Brennan Wagner.
Yes,
the colors on this.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of their usual colors, Dave Stewart, who I believe Stewart is coming back for the actual miniseries.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we're getting a lot of Stewart. And of
course,
I
mean, each issue is a different writer in Last Halloween.
A different
artist.
It's a different artist, but I've seen quite a few previews, and I think Stewart's doing a decent chunk of colors.
Okay.
For Stewart. Or he's at least doing some of the colors. So we're getting Dave Stewart colors, because this is a lot. It's a strained relationship between Bruce and Gordon. Bruce dealing with his own shit under the surface by having just taken in a year ago-ish Dick Grayson.
Yep, who we see he's still having a hard time entirely trusting and sending out on his own.
Which I really hope we get some. I mean, we got plenty of it in Dark Victory, but I hope Loeb uses Dick Grayson a lot through Last Halloween.
I would hope so. Yeah, I think he will. Especially when we recontextualize this special as the prologue to the rest of the Last Halloween. I could definitely see that happening. And also, now I'm really thinking that Loeb is going to redo the origins of Batgirl in this, which I'm also now really looking forward to. I think that'll be really cool. We also get this great, speaking of Batgirl actually, and Barbara, by that logic, we get this really nice moment early on where Gordon kind of begrudgingly asks Batman, "Hey, Barbara, my niece is here, and she wants to know if she can go trick-or-treating with Robin." And Batman disappears, and then later on,
you can say no, of course, but
and he just does his little disappearing act. It's beautiful.
You know who I was kind of imagining Gordon in the voice for Gordon in this scene, and in this issue entirely. It's a little different than usual. Jeffrey Wright.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I don't know why.
I can understand that. I mean, for me, especially for this Gordon, and I think for the Loeb Sale Gordon, always for me, it's still Bob Hastings Gordon, but I get that.
I don't know. It feels a bit Jeffrey Wright.
That's fair. Just in kind of how put out he is by that moment. I get that.
Of course, we have to talk about Harvey Dent.
Harvey fucking Dent. I remember being struck by that one full page that we see early on here, because revisiting her old flame is one Gilda Dent who visits Harvey, and they grow to just rekindle a really loving relationship between them that I really, really love. Look at these two fucking psychopaths. I love them. They're great.
They have a zombie butler.
They do. I mean, come on. What is not to love? It's so good. I really love that. It's wonderful.
I love the idea of Gilda being able to see past the disfigurement completely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's fascinating, and I find then where this special goes even more fascinating, because obviously,
because I do wonder now how much Gilda is going to play a part in Last Halloween, given what Batman
she's gonna have
pretty much figures out by the end of the issue. That said, it's worth noting at this point. If you haven't read Long Halloween or Dark Victory, you're going to be kind of lost throughout this.
Yeah, we should say blanket spoilers for Long Halloween, Dark Victory, and
probably
honest,
probably
potentially Catwoman when in Rome, because
again in that interview at the end, Loeb says Catwoman's going to be a big player in it. So
as she should be.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting Jeff Loeb Batcat again.
Jacob, I'm so excited. Oh my god.
Here's the thing. I'm afraid my brain is just going to be too much of this is a team that I love too much to critically analyze this damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Like
I'm going to try to be the party pooper.
Jacob,
but I don't know if I can be.
You physically can't. Like, it's so good. Anyway, moving on. We need to actually talk about it. We get Calendar Man Cult. I love Calendar Man Cult. It looks so good. Just a really striking visual. I love especially this panel after he kills June and May. Get that sort of like bland panel, and then the last panel, his eyes, but in that like skin tone colored panel, like that consumes the entire panel. There, it looks so good. I love it. We get to see Harvey and Gilda having dinner together in their old house. They move back into the old Dent home and give out candy. Are ready to give out candy to some trick-or-treaters.
It is 2 pages of, again, the weirdest but like almost cutest domestic bliss. Like, these 2 people are murderers. They have committed several crimes.
Exactly. But I can't help but love them. I love them. Look at these psychopaths.
I want to see them. I want to see these psychopaths be fine.
Give them a happy ending. Come on, don't be a coward.
Either want a super happy ending or it's got to be super tragic. One of the two, no in between.
Yeah, you can't just middle around there. Yeah. Anyway, so the Calendar Man cult attacks Gilda, takes her, captures her. Meanwhile, Gordon and his family is ready to go out trick or treating. Well, Gordon's going to work. That is. That is, of course, until he sees at his doorstep Batman and Robin. As promised, Robin is ready to go trick-or-treating with little Barbara Gordon. Barbara in a Batgirl costume, or I guess what at the time we would sort of right away as, just a female Batman costume, I suppose. But it looks so good. Look at it, and we get Dick and Barbara interacting and having fun, and Loeb just doing such a great job at writing that relationship. It's so good.
Presumably they've obviously never met, so it's like, I really hope we get more of Dick and Barbara in this miniseries.
I think we will. I think we're getting it. Definitely. Oh my god. Beautiful shit. Oh my god. I also love the image then we get of the half bat symbol, 2 faces like cracked open the side of the bat signal and shine it up in the sky. Just looks really cool. Batman goes to talk to Two-Face then, and they agree to go rescue Gilda. And I like this. I love what Loeb plays around with here in that. There's this want, Loeb kind of writes that like Batman himself has given up on Harvey, but there's still just this small piece of him underneath that that still wants to save Harvey somehow. I think it just really works. I love the way it's written.
Also, our final little bit as Dick has to go off and be Robin, Barbara just like, can I have his candy? Like,
it's so sweet. I love it. Oh, it's so good. And then, oh my god, those 2 fucking pages in black and white with the only color being the baby bottle nipple on the 22 pistol. Like, oh, mwah, mwah. Oh my god.
My brain is like, oh no, we're heading for tragedy.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh my god. I love it. I need more. We're getting more. I'm so glad we're getting more, but I need more.
Including it looks like maybe some more older draft covers that are being used.
What they said in the interview, or I keep saying interview, it's more like an in-conversation between Starkings and Loeb, but what they said, the cover of the Zero issue is an old cover that Sale just kind of threw out himself, that he was going to propose for the special back when this came out. They ended up using here for the Zero issue, and then they got a bunch of unpublished works of his to use as the covers for each of the main 10 issues, which I fucking love. Oh my god.
But yeah, so we have our big action fight in a church. Uh, I feel like the last Halloween's going to be like really exploring duality as sort of as Long Halloween and Dark Victory did, but maybe going even further.
Well, it is around this point as we get towards the end here that we start playing around with how much of Harvey is still within Two-Face, I think. There's a little hint towards the end that we'll talk about, I guess, when we get to it. But first off, we see what is supposedly Two-Face going to the Calendar Man cult, and it was shaved head and half robe and all. Fights Calendar Man. It turns out that this Two-Face is in fact actually Batman in disguise, which is a really funny, very like Batman the Animated Series type image. I just really enjoy. I think that's great to see. But as we get towards the end here, we also get a Solomon Grundy sacrifice. It's actually quite sad. Yeah, like it's Grundy protecting Two-Face as they storm into the church together, and this bomb that Calendar Man has, Grundy takes and it blows up with him, and this is that little hint I was talking about as Harvey is holding Gilda here. The speech bubbles completely shift from the scratchy Two-Face speech bubbles to just regular Harvey ones.
Yeah, regular lettering, and it's interesting. It is an interesting choice.
Isn't it? Oh god. Oh my god.
It makes me so happy that Richard Starkings, I think, is lettering this entire thing.
He is, yeah. Yep. Oh man. And then we get Batman beating the shit out of Calendar Man, and Robin kind of feeling sympathy for Calendar Man in the end because he didn't know that he was an orphan, and this sort of like really cold Bruce Wayne inner monologue that says like Robin is an orphan, as am I. That doesn't give us the right to commit crimes that coincide with the calendar. The boy is young; he'll learn. Oh man, I just I feel like there's so much that Loeb has to say about this character going forward, taking on Dick Grayson as a partner, and that is why especially why I'm so excited to see more of this saga continue. I feel like it can't just end there. I can't wait to see what Loeb can actually end up doing with that. It's so good. I keep saying that, but it is so good. I'm telling the truth.
It is very good. There's also a little moment earlier on because Calendar Man has been doing these crimes involving births, basically jewel thieves, corresponding to monthly birthstones. And there's also this musings about Bruce's position as a billionaire.
Yeah.
In the over narration, which I think that could be particularly interesting to explore, especially with the shift from sort of your year one Long Halloween mob to your Dark Victory, and now this supervillains, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, definitely. Which is sort of what the saga has kind of always been about. That's why, I mean, it's a great full 2-page spread, but that's why that image in the last issue of Long Halloween is so striking of the supervillains of Gotham invading the home of Carmine Falcone, because that is literally the supervillains taking over. It's the mad people, the freaks. They are taking their rightful place in the city. And you see that continue to develop throughout Dark Victory, and now it's so cool. Oh my god. Two-Face and Gilda sail away, the two of them together in love, and Batman talks to Gordon at the end, and we get this great little hint that Batman has very much put together that Gilda Dent, at the very least, had something to do with the holiday killings. Could have very well figured it all out. I'm assuming it's something we'll delve into a little bit in the full miniseries, but yeah. God, what a great final page, by the way. I love that last page. To send off Interiors by Tim Sale. It just makes me so sad, but I love it. I just, oh god, what a career.
I mean, a great last issue to have, honestly.
Yeah, it's so good.
Also, I highly recommend people pick up this specific reprint.
For that interview, please.
The info conversation is great. We also get some. Obviously, we get some cover teases for what's coming next as well.
Yep. Also, apparently, I learned that Rob Liefeld is doing a variant cover for one of the issues.
Oh, well, that's just a variant cover. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Don't. You don't need to get what.
But there is also a Jim Lee one at some point, so that's also really exciting.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't. If I were buying these physically, I wouldn't necessarily want to buy any variant covers. I would want that Tim Sale art.
Well, of course, yeah.
Right?
It's what the whole miniseries is. It's a tribute to Tim Sale. I think you should get the original Tim Sale covers, but either way, if nothing else, this is clearly a collaboration of people that love and want to celebrate the life and work of Tim Sale, and I really can't fault it for that at all. Just so good. What an issue, and I'm very excited for the miniseries going forward.
I am also. I'm just so happy we're covering this. What's also, and I'm glad this is coming right sort of at the transition where we are going to be wrapping up a couple of one-shots.
Yeah. This month is pretty hectic, and next month is going to be equally as hectic. But finally, I think November we're going to slow down a little bit. So,
and then we have December, which has
a crossover event. So yeah, gonna be fun. All that said, check out other things we do on the channel. Fresh Faced One Shots, of course. We cover Superman by Joshua Williamson, Wonder Woman by Tom King, Batman the Brave and the Bold by Various, because, anthology. We're also coming up on the end of the summer DSC event of 2024 that goes into fall. Absolute Power. We have the final issue coming out in October, as well as the final issue of another one-shot we do, Batman Death in the Family, Robin Lives, the alternate timeline in which Jason Todd survived. The final issue of that comes out next month. That has been a fantastic miniseries. I strongly recommend that. We also are doing our current Marvel one-shot with Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, which has been awesome. And also, speaking of X-Men things, I started up a thing called Fresh Face Solos, where I'm covering things by myself. Mostly right now, X-Men by Jed McKay. Also, it has an upcoming crossover with Uncanny, so we'll turn X-Men into one-shots briefly for like 1 month, and then we'll go back to solos.
It's technically a month and a half. I think it's because it's a 4-part crossover.
Yeah. So
I think, yeah,
it'll be a thing. So check all that out. Also, the main podcast, Fresh Face Comics, we have Flash Fall upcoming. We are doing three Flash episodes in a row that I'm pretty excited about. So be sure to check all that out. Otherwise, also our link trees, our socials, and all that will be in the description below. I can speak today. You can follow us wherever you want to follow us. Subscribe to the channel, go to the studios, and I think that about does it. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan,
Jacob Licklider,
and goodbye.
Goodbye.